Hello everyone and welcome to Pause Lesson 9. Today we are learning about mindful eating, which is to fully appreciate the food we eat by slowing down to savour our food and notice its flavour, texture and temperature. You will be successful when you know and understand what mindful eating is and are able to practice it in your daily life. So here is an apple. And usually when I'm in the classrooms with the kids, and I highly recommend that you do this with them, that you bring a real apple in and pass it around and get them to look at it silently. With no prompts from you, just see what they do. After it's all been handed around, you can get some feedback from the kids on what they noticed. Then this leads into a brilliant story about mindful eating, which we do have a YouTube clip that you can watch the story online, or if you're able to purchase the book, I highly recommend that as well. Before actually doing the activity of mindfully eating with your class, this is an excellent warm-up activity to do. And you can take the students through it. So basically I get them to close their eyes and you're making links to the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. And of course this often engages the kids more because we're referring it back to the brain. And we talk them through about, we want them to use their 5 senses to try and remember something. And it's like a visualization activity. So we connect with them about making a birthday cake, or if they don't celebrate birthdays, maybe one of their favorite meals that they might have had an opportunity to experience with their family making it, and talk to them about, what do you hear? What can you smell? And imagine taking a bite of whatever the food is, whether it's a birthday cake or your favorite meal. Can they remember what it tasted like? And then get them to share the experience with a friend next to them, and then possibly contribute to the class as well. And all the time talking about, so the prefrontal cortex is the one that's actually visualizing it, but the memories are coming up from the hippocampus. Some of the questions that you can discuss with the kids is, what memory did you think of? How did your body change as you used your senses? Are you hungry now? What would happen if I put a plate of food in front of you right now? Would you eat it very fast, or would you eat it each bite very slowly? So it's really just getting, again, mindful, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, to pay attention to what they're eating. Now, this is a great activity to do with your kids. I always usually bring in raisins and pass them out to each of the kids and take them through. So basically, we make the kids aware that we're going to use our 5 senses before we actually eat the raisin. So the first one is you're going to look at it with your eyes. You're going to smell it with your nose. You're going to listen to it with your ears, feel it with your fingers, and finally placing it on your tongue. And like they learn in the story, rolling it around in their mouth before even taking a bite. And afterwards noticing what memories, what thoughts might have crossed their mind. Did their amygdala fire? Did they not want to eat the raisin? And unpack all of that with them. It's a fabulous lesson to do. If you're uncertain about taking the students through the mindful eating activity on your own, there's a YouTube clip you can do with the class. Now, this is for the older students. It's a great one to go through on how eating different foods affect your brain. And this is also for the older students, just unpacking a little bit more of the chemicals in the brain and how they're affected by eating. So down the bottom you can see neurotransmitters are key to the dynamic and ever-changing ecosystem of our brain. These chemical messengers influence a wide range of feelings and behaviours and are affected by our sensory input and general health. Attentiveness, engagement, competence and achievement are only possible when the learner's brain is in a receptive state, allowing for a calm and mindful response. Mindful eating, like other mindful activities, gives students an opportunity to both relax, to both become aware and relaxed. Mindful activities help to train the prefrontal cortex to pay attention, absorb details and think clearly. So that's a really great one to, again, unpack with your older students and talk about maybe, you know, how are they setting their learning brain up for success at school today? Have they had a great breakfast? Do they have lunch? Have they been staying hydrated by drinking water? All of those sorts of things, you can have great conversations with your kids. There's a little colouring in activity that you can send home with the kids or do in class. And there's also a poster that can be sent home for parents and you can have up in your classroom around mindful eating. And then there's two additional activities that you can do with the class out of the student booklet if you so choose to. Thanks very much for your time today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.